Let's go next to our caller from the 267 area code. 267, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, David. My name is William. I'm a big fan of the show.
Thanks.
I wanted to talk to you about immigration.
Sure.
So you talked about how the right smears the left by saying the left supports open borders,
Right.
but I think both sides just view the subject differently.
Okay.
So I think the right views the left as pro open borders because they are generally soft on enforcing deportations. Like that, when people come here illegally, the left is generally not as fast to support them to be deported. If that makes any sense.
So what would be an example of that? Who are you talking about? People who have done what exactly?
I don't have any specific examples. I just have a general feeling of like that's based off of a bunch of left-wing commentators and people on the left that I've spoken to personally. That's the general vibe of they don't really want people to be deported. Like for instance, I've heard on your show how you support people being deported if they've done a violent crime, but they've already come here illegally. So I think just coming here is enough for deportation because they don't belong here. They were born here. Haven't done
So
the
listen,
right
let me
paperwork.
give you what I think is the predominant view. There is no doubt that there are immigration activists who say if you've come here illegally but haven't committed any other crime, it should be treated sort of like a civil infraction. It should be a ticket or whatever. You should not be deported. Okay, I don't think that's the predominant view. My understanding of the predominant view on the left is there's no question that countries are allowed to have borders and immigration law and enforce immigration law. The disagreement comes in that the priority should not be as a solution to go out and proactively find people who have committed no other crime other than being here illegally and deport those people when there are so many other things that should be done first. Like, for example, we should be looking at overstayed visas, and we should be looking at technology on the border, and we should be looking at a path to citizenship for DACA to make sure that those people who came here through no choice of their own. There's a lot of priorities. And then even beyond that, there are other criminal priorities within the United States that are higher priorities than just finding people who are here illegally and deporting them. So I'm sure you're right. There are people who don't want undocumented immigrants to be deported at all. I don't think that's the primary view. I think the primary view is that choosing to make the priority to do ICE raids and just find people who are here working hard, whatever, when it was your faulty system to begin with that allowed them to come here to start with, seems like a totally misguided priority. I think that's really the issue.
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely agree with that. It shouldn't be the priority, and especially since some people have been deported by accident. I don't think people should be going through, lists of citizens and trying to get people out.
There's
But
also an
if
issue
you're
of
if you're
civil
caught,
liberties, William. There's a
yeah.
civil liberties issue also where, for example, I don't think that if police pull you over and you have a driver's license and you were speeding, I don't think it should be in their purview to ask questions about or explore your immigration status. That should not be the job of local police, for example. Does that mean I think anyone should be allowed to come to the US illegally at any time? No, but from a civil liberties perspective, I don't believe that that's the job that local police should be doing. Do you understand the distinction?
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that as well.
Cool.
So everything you're saying, I agree with. So
All right, good.
thanks
Well,
for
hopefully we've
the
changed your view, at
insight.
least on the predominant view. I appreciate the call. I've got a lot of people holding, so I'm going to move on. But, a lot of times I feel like our disagreements are based on misunderstanding the other person's position, not actually disagreeing about the principle. Let's go next to our caller from the 323 area code. Caller from 323, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, David. My name's Josh. I'm calling from LA. How
Hey,
are you?
Josh, what's going on?
Had kind of a strange question for you, a little bit more like a career advice type question. But if you'll be so kind, let me take a running start at this. So I've been sort of politically activated back in 2016 when I started watching people like you and Young Turks and Kyle Kalinske kind of never really liked politics, didn't trust politicians until I heard about Bernie Sanders. He changed everything for me. He basically made me politically activated. I'm a professional cinematographer living in LA, and my question for you is, I'm trying in my own way to push the Overton window to the left. I try and talk to friends and family about important issues. Anyone I meet, really, at a party, like Lord knows my wife would say, I've ruined lots of weddings by, chatting up people who had political disagreements with me. But basically, my question for you is, like, how, in my own way, in my own sphere, can I push that window to the left? And I'm not really able or interested in doing what you do, which is being on camera. I'm a cameraman myself, so I'm looking to amplify people's voices on the left. I was just wondering if you had any tips.
So you want to amplify voices from the left, but you don't want to be on camera. And I'm guessing you don't want to be involved in producing a show either.
Oh, no, I want to be involved in producing it. I just don't have like the wherewithal to like go on camera and do what you do. But I'm totally into
So, well, listen,
producing it, yes.
I mean, there's a lot of people who do what I do, but they lack either the technical skills or the business skills or the access to the equipment to do it. So I would say partner up with someone who does want to be on camera, but lacks the skills that you have. And then now, instead of it just being one guy or gal who has to figure this out, now you've got two people. I mean, one of the things that really, I've seen a lot of shows fail, not because the host has bad ideas or is a bad communicator, but I've seen shows fail because they can't get the tech side together. They can't get it together enough to be regularly producing content, which is what it takes to start building things up. So I would say partner up with someone who does want to be on camera, bring your skills to the table.
I've tried that. Yeah, I've contacted other campaigns. Like I hit up Shahid Buttar and flew to San Francisco and shot some content for him pro bono. I'm looking to do more stuff like that, but these campaigns, of course, I volunteered for Jank and I volunteered for Bernie, but those campaigns have never written me back. I'm sure they get a billion emails a day.
Sure.
I was just wondering if you knew of any other local progressives, or maybe not local, but
I don't. But
like
again, I'm saying don't get jumped in with a candidate, because the candidate might win and then they're elected official, or they lose and then they disappear. Really look at starting an ongoing program with someone who is interested in being on camera as a host, not as a candidate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, because then it's sort of like the conversation continues over whoever gets elected.
Exactly right. And this is honestly, this is one of the problems I see with Bernie in 2016. In 2020, I've seen it with Tulsi Gabbard, where channels pop up where it's just about the candidate only. And then if the candidate doesn't win, all of that audience and goodwill that you've built up kind of disappears because it was based around a candidate. So I like the idea of building a show either around the host or around an issue rather than a candidate. I think that's the way to go.
Or even broader, like about an ideology.
Sure, of course, progressive ideology. Okay, I hope that's somewhat useful. I appreciate the call.
Thanks.
All right, Josh. Josh from LA, great to hear from you. Let's take a quick break. If you're holding, don't hang up, because I will go right back to the phones after this short break.